Church of your heart. So, have you decided on which one yet? Absalom tried to sound conversational, but the look that his spouse gave him made it clear that he had not succeeded. He was worried. Not yet, but I'm leaning towards the pillar. They came back to Bastion when they needed to, and it was where I earned my acres. Tia continued sorting between what was absolutely necessary to take and what would be nice. Their old surgical tools went to the first pile, and their new surcoat in the second. Oh yeah, they have been doing some excellent stuff recently. Absalom had never served with one of the armies. He was happy enough as a tailor and had learned everything he needed from his father. How long do you think you'll be gone? Tia's face grew hard. They knew that Absalom was worried, but this was bigger than the two of them. Until the last scion is destroyed. When the Empire is free from the touch of cold sun, I'll be back. They tried to lighten the mood. We've got good people in charge. I'll be home before the next Day of the Dead. The surgeon went back to packing, losing themselves in the routine. Absalom continued watching and offered a silent prayer to the sentinel to give inspiration to Tia in the months to come. Overview. In Bastion, the granite pillar stands as a beacon of virtue against the existential threat that is the scions of Cold Sun. In the heart of not only Highguard, but of the Way itself, the scions are met again and again by the guardians and cataphracts of the First Highborn Army. At the same time as the soldiers of the granite pillar were awaiting their orders from General Asenath, the National Assembly upheld a statement of principle with a greater majority that struck a chord. Ira of the Flame Beneath the Earth called on those who had previously served in the armies of Highguard. We call to those who have served in Highguard armies. The unbound steel hall of lost chapters has been taken from us by the cold sun, and our proud history desecrated. Now they gather in Bastion. Bastion must be defended. Bring the Guardian, the Cataphract, and the Unconquered. Don your armour once more. General Asenath raises the hallowed banner of the Thundering Tide. Bearing a miracle of courage, General Asenath does not fear to act, and neither should we. Loyalty demands that we strike quickly so our forces may go on to help protect the lands of our sibling nations once our home is safe. You have served before. We ask that you serve again. Ira of the Flame Beneath the Earth, Highborn National Assembly, Autumn Equinox 385YE. The red eye of the basilisk is open and sees all. Be the example the Empire needs you to be, and the lesson the impudent realms will never forget. Asenath, General of the Granite Pillar. This strong statement, coupled with the orders of General Asenath, has seen an overwhelming response from the veterans who are ready to leave their chapters to once again take up arms alongside the Highborn armies and strike decisively against these creatures of the realms. These mandates would effectively function as the opportunities generated by Highborn armies each season. No further opportunities would be generated until every army of Cold Sun was destroyed. It would still be possible for the National Assembly of Highguard to uphold a statement of principle, calling on the nation to fight against a different enemy, but it would be unlikely to result in a mandate. Steel without. It is perhaps unsurprising that the greatest response is from the followers of Vigilance in Highguard. They are the nation that practices the Vigilant War. Bows, spears and short swords are readied and honed. Armour is oiled and tended to. The veterans are ready to return to the front. Unconquered and Guardians alike gather supplies and ready themselves to support the armies. But doing so would mean potentially leaving their chapters' defences weakened. The veterans would dearly love to return to the armies. A few of them already have, but the majority are waiting for instruction from the Highborn Assembly. They look to the National Assembly for confirmation that they should go to the armies of Highguard and bring their experience to support the soldiers in teaching the heralds an important lesson. Despise that which threatens what you watch over. We send named priest with 50 doses of Liao to encourage the highborn armies to bring an end to the scions of Cold Sun. Synod Mandate. Highguard Assembly. If enacted, this mandate will allow all highborn armies to use the Bring Virtue to the Scions order. Former soldiers and artisans would flock to the armies to support them in their fight against the scions. Casualties inflicted on scions by this army are increased by 3/10. Casualties suffered by this army are increased by 1/5. Virtue within. There is also a strong response from those who know that the Empire is what commands their devotion, and they want to act to defend it. The cataphracts ready their heavy armour and tower shields, the magisters their mage armour bedecked in the constellations, or embossed with images of the paragons, and the apothecaries prepare to harvest their herbs, both magical and mundane. These dedicates of loyalty want to ensure that what has happened elsewhere, in Karov and Miaren and other territories, is never repeated. They wish to fight alongside the armies of Highguard to ensure that no more civilians fall to these horrors from the Day Realm. It will undoubtedly see more deaths in the fight against Oblivion, but the people of any territory defended by the Granite Pillar, 7th Wave, or the valiant Pegasus will know that virtue has seen them protected. The loyal look to the National Assembly of Highguard for confirmation that they should go to the armies of Highguard and offer their experience to the soldiers in forming a wall of souls and steel against the scions. The truly virtuous are loyal even through hardship and misfortune. We send named priest with 50 doses of Liao to encourage the highborn armies to defend the Empire at any cost. Synod Mandate. Highguard Assembly. If enacted, this mandate will allow all highborn armies to use the Defence of the Virtuous order. Former soldiers and apothecaries would flock to the armies to provide support against the scions. The ability of this army to defend territory against scions is increased by 2/5. Casualties suffered by this army are increased by 1/5.